Welcome to Greenland.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
This video may not be politically correct and is highly controversial and might get deleted, so watch until the end before it gets taken offline. Do you want to know why China and USA are fighting for Greenland? Stay until the end of this video to find out the truth revealed. Imagine a land where ice stretches as far as the eye can see, where ancient glaciers whisper secrets of millennia past, and where geopolitical tensions simmer beneath a pristine Arctic facade. Welcome to Greenland, the world's largest island that's not a continent, yet holds the key to global power dynamics in the 21st century. Here at 5 Times Travel is where we unlock your travel potential and uncover the most fascinating hidden geopolitical stories. Buckle up and grab your virtual passport, because the journey we're about to embark on will challenge everything you thought you knew about the Arctic's crown jewel and its role in shaping the future of our planet. Dear viewer, prepare to be transported to a realm where icy landscapes conceal fiery ambitions, where the dance of northern lights illuminates international power plays, and where the melting of ancient ice reveals both treasures and troubles. Greenland, a name that conjures images of vast white expanses, is far more than meets the eye. It's a land of paradoxes, where a sparse population of just over 56,000 souls inhabits a territory 3 times the size of Texas. Nestled in the North Atlantic, straddling the Arctic Circle, Greenland is an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark. Its capital, Nuuk, is a colorful outpost of modernity amidst a wilderness that has remained largely unchanged since the Viking Age. But don't let its remote location fool you. This icy giant is at the heart of a global chess game, with superpowers vying for position on its frozen board. The history of Greenland unfolds like an ancient tapestry, woven with threads of ice and fire, survival and conquest. Long before European boots crunched on its frozen shores, the Inuit people had already written their saga in the snow, mastering the art of thriving in a world where others would merely struggle to survive. Imagine, if you will, a land where the very air you breathe might freeze in your lungs, where darkness reigns for months on end, and where the line between life and death is as thin as the ice beneath your feet. This was the realm the Inuit called home, their ingenuity and resilience etched into every harpoon, every kayak, every carefully stitched sealskin garment. But then, like a storm from the east, came the Vikings. Led by Eric the Red, a man whose name was as fiery as his hair and temper, they arrived in 985 AD. Eric, exiled from Iceland for murder, saw in Greenland's icy expanse not just a new home, but an opportunity. In a move that would make modern marketers blush, he christened this frozen land Greenland, a name as misleading as it was brilliant. Can you imagine, dear viewer, the shock of those first settlers as they gazed upon endless fields of white, expecting verdant meadows? Yet Eric's silver tongue and grand promises lured hundreds to this harsh new world. 25 ships set sail from Iceland, filled with hopeful souls dreaming of green pastures. But nature is a cruel mistress, and only 14 of those ships would reach their destination. Picture yourself on one of those ill-fated vessels, watching as your dreams sink beneath the icy waves along with your companions. The Norse carved out a precarious existence in the southern fjords, their settlements a defiant statement against the unforgiving landscape. But while they clung to their European ways, building churches and raising cattle, the Inuit continued their nomadic traditions, moving with the rhythms of the land and sea. It was a dance of cultures, each steps away from collision. As centuries passed, the Danish-Norwegian crown cast its gaze upon this icy jewel, seeing in it the potential for colonial glory. But oh, the irony of history, for as they sought to impose their will upon Greenland, it was the land itself that would ultimately dictate the terms of human existence. Today, dear viewer, as you walk the streets of Nuuk or gaze upon the melting glaciers, remember that beneath your feet lies a history written in blood, sweat, and frozen tears. The Inuit, the Vikings, the Danish, all have left their mark, their stories intertwined like the northern lights dancing across the sky. And as climate change rewrites Greenland's future, one must wonder, what new sagas will unfold on this island of ice and fire? Will you, perhaps, play a role in the next chapter of Greenland's epic tale? Let's begin our journey in Nuuk, Greenland's capital, and a city that defies expectations. Here, colorful houses cling to rocky outcrops, a testament to human determination in the face of nature's harsh embrace. As you wander the streets, you'll feel the tension between tradition and modernity, between the ancient ways of the Inuit and the encroaching influence of the outside world. The Katuak Cultural Center, with its undulating facade mimicking the northern lights, stands as a bold statement of Greenlandic identity. But look closer, dear viewer, and you'll see the cracks in this veneer of progress, the struggles of a people torn between preserving their heritage and embracing change. Venture north to Ilulissat, home to the UNESCO World Heritage Ilulissat Ice Fjord, and prepare to have your breath stolen away. Here, colossal icebergs calve from one of the world's fastest-moving glaciers, a spectacle both awe-inspiring and terrifying. As you stand before this frozen leviathan, you'll feel insignificant, a mere speck in the face of nature's raw power. But there's a dark undercurrent to this beauty. Each thunderous crack of ice is a death knell for the Arctic as we know it, a stark reminder of the climate crisis unfolding before our eyes. Disco Bay, once teeming with whales and a paradise for nature lovers, now tells a different story. Yes, you can still witness the majestic humpbacks breaching the surface, their haunting songs echoing across the water. But as you sail these waters, you'll notice the absence, the silence where once there was an abundance of life. The whales that remain are not just a tourist attraction, but a living reminder of what we stand to lose if we continue on our current path. In Uummannaq, the heart-shaped mountain looms over a community clinging to the edge of existence. This remote outpost, where dog sleds still outnumber cars, offers a glimpse into a way of life that's rapidly disappearing. As you interact with the locals, you'll feel the weight of history, the struggle to maintain traditions in a world that's leaving them behind. The children here dream of smartphones and city lights, while their elders fight to preserve the knowledge that has sustained their people for millennia. Qeqertarsuaq on Disco Island presents yet another face of Greenland's multifaceted beauty. Here, black sand beaches stretch beneath towering basalt cliffs, a landscape more reminiscent of Iceland than the typical Arctic scenery. As you hike through lush valleys bursting with wildflowers, you'll be struck by the incongruity, this verdant oasis in a land of ice. But this unique ecosystem is under threat as warming temperatures push plants and animals to the brink of extinction. Dear viewer, as you traverse this land of ice and fire, of hope and despair, you'll be confronted with questions that have no easy answers. The beauty you witness comes at a cost. Each stunning vista is a snapshot of a world on the brink of irrevocable change. The northern lights that dance across the sky are not just a natural wonder, but a reminder of the delicate balance of our planet's magnetic field, increasingly disrupted by human activity. In Greenland, you'll find yourself face to face with the consequences of our collective actions. The melting ice sheets are not just a distant problem, they're reshaping the land before your very eyes, altering the lives of those who call this harsh realm home. As you stand on the edge of the Greenland ice sheet, stretching endlessly to the horizon, you'll feel the weight of responsibility pressing down upon you. This is not just a journey through space, but through time. In Greenland, you can witness the last vestiges of an ancient way of life, preserved like insects in amber. But you'll also see the first tremors of a future that's rushing towards us faster than we can comprehend. The choice of what world we want to live in, one of pristine wilderness or unchecked exploitation, is laid bare here in stark relief. So, dear viewer, as you contemplate your visit to this land of extremes, ask yourself, are you ready to confront the harsh truths that Greenland has to offer? Are you prepared to see beyond the postcard-perfect vistas to the complex realities that lie beneath? For in Greenland, beauty and tragedy walk hand in hand, and every moment of wonder is tinged with the bittersweet knowledge of what we stand to lose. This is not just a vacation destination, it's a pilgrimage to the front lines of our planet's future. Will you answer the call? You might wonder, dear viewer, is Greenland truly habitable? The answer is a resounding yes, but it comes with a price that few are willing to pay. Imagine a land where survival itself is an act of defiance against nature's harshest whims. Picture yourself in the depths of an Arctic winter, where darkness reigns supreme for weeks on end. The sun, that life-giving orb you take for granted, abandons you to a world of shadows and ice. Yet, in this perpetual twilight, the Inuit people of Greenland not only survive, but thrive, their resilience a burning flame in the frozen night. These descendants of ancient nomads have carved out an existence in a realm that would break lesser spirits. Their bodies, shaped by millennia of adaptation, are living testaments to human endurance. Stockier builds, smaller extremities, and higher metabolisms, nature's own armor against the biting cold. But Greenland's habitability is a double-edged sword, forged in ice and tempered by change. As you stand on the precipice of a melting world, you witness a people caught between tradition and transformation. The very land that has sustained them for generations is shifting beneath their feet, as climate change rewrites the rules of survival. In the coastal towns, where most Greenlanders cluster like penguins for warmth, you'll find a study in contrasts. Modern amenities clash with ancient customs, as snowmobiles replace dog sleds and supermarket shelves compete with traditional hunting grounds. Yet, the spirit of the Inuit endures, adapting as it always has. But make no mistake, this is no idyllic Arctic paradise. In the shadow of picturesque icebergs lurk the demons of modernization, social challenges that would test even the hardiest souls. Imagine living in Block P, a concrete monstrosity in Nuuk, where narrow hallways mock the need for heavy winter clothing, and there's no place for the dogs that once pulled sleds across the tundra. As you navigate this land of extremes, you'll find that Greenland's habitability is not just a question of physical endurance, but of cultural resilience. The Inuit way of life, honed over centuries, now faces its greatest challenge. Will their adaptability be enough in the face of rapid climate change and globalization? In Greenland, dear viewer, habitability is not just about survival. It's about preserving a way of life that's as old as the ice itself. As you contemplate this harsh yet captivating land, ask yourself, in a world of increasing comfort and convenience, have we lost the ability to truly inhabit our environment, to live in harmony with nature's extremes? The people of Greenland might just hold the answer to our future. Imagine a land where survival itself is an act of defiance. Greenland, a realm of ice and fire, beckons you to witness the raw power of human resilience. Yes, it's habitable, but at what cost? Picture yourself in the depths of polar night, where darkness reigns for weeks on end. The sun, that life-giving orb you take for granted, abandons you to a world of shadows and ice. Yet, in this perpetual twilight, the Inuit people not only survive, but thrive, their spirit a burning flame in the frozen night. But make no mistake, this is no idyllic Arctic paradise. In the shadow of picturesque icebergs lurk the demons of modernization. Imagine living in Block P, a concrete monstrosity in Nuuk, where narrow hallways mock the need for heavy winter clothing, and there's no place for the dogs that once pulled sleds across the tundra. As you stand on the precipice of a melting world, you witness a people caught between tradition and transformation. The very land that has sustained them for generations is shifting beneath their feet, as climate change rewrites the rules of survival. Will you be the one to witness the last gasp of an ancient way of life? The Ilulissat Ice Fjord, once a testament to nature's timeless majesty, now serves as a stark reminder of our planet's fragility. As you kayak through newly formed glacial lagoons, the thunderous crack of calving icebergs echoes like a death knell for the Arctic as we know it. You are part of a controversial phenomenon, last chance tourism. As you rush to witness disappearing glaciers, ask yourself, are you a witness to history or an accomplice to destruction? Your very presence in this fragile ecosystem raises ethical questions that demand answers. The Northern Lights, once a celestial dance of wonder, now take on a sinister hue as they paint the sky in ethereal colors. They illuminate a landscape in flux, where hot springs bubble amidst melting ice, creating surreal oases that may soon vanish forever. Greenland's Inuit, masters of adaptation for millennia, now face their greatest challenge. Climate change threatens not just their environment, but the very core of their identity. As you walk among them, you'll see a people striving to maintain their cultural vitality in the face of unprecedented change. Will you be among the last to witness the traditional Inuit way of life? Or will you see the birth of a new Greenland, forever altered by the forces of global warming and tourism? The choice, dear viewer, is yours. But remember, every step you take on this icy land leaves an indelible mark on its future. As you contemplate this harsh yet captivating realm, ask yourself, in our world of increasing comfort and convenience, have we lost the ability to truly inhabit our environment, to live in harmony with nature's extremes? The people of Greenland might just hold the answer to our future, if we're willing to listen before it's too late. Beneath Greenland's icy facade is a geopolitical inferno rage. The world's largest island is no longer content to be a mere pawn in the game of nations. As you stand on this frozen frontier, you witness the birth of a nation and the death of an old order. Greenland's Prime Minister, Nuuk, has thrown down the gauntlet, declaring in his New Year's address that it's time to take the next step for our country. Can you feel the tremors of change beneath your feet? The draft constitution, unveiled after 6 years of labor, is a battle cry for freedom, a document forged in the fires of centuries-long colonial resentment. But freedom comes at a price, doesn't it? As you walk the streets of Nuuk, you'll see a people torn between the siren call of independence and the golden handcuffs of Danish subsidies. More than $500 million annually flows from Copenhagen to Greenland. Will you witness the birth of a nation or the stillbirth of a dream crushed by economic reality? The geopolitical vultures are circling, sensing weakness and opportunity. The European Union extends an olive branch of economic cooperation, a thinly veiled attempt to sink its claws into Greenland's vast, untapped resources. And across the Atlantic, the specter of Donald Trump looms large. His desire to buy Greenland, a stark reminder of the island's strategic importance. As you gaze upon the melting ice sheets, you're not just witnessing climate change, but the shifting of global power. The Arctic, once an impenetrable fortress of ice, is becoming a new frontier for resource exploitation and military posturing. Greenland stands at the center of this maelstrom, a prize coveted by superpowers. But amidst this high-stakes game of geopolitical chess, the Inuit people of Greenland fight to preserve their identity. As Aki Matilda Hogdam, a Greenlandic member of the Danish parliament, defiantly proclaimed in Greenlandic, "We are trying to break from the colonial chains." Will you stand with them as they reclaim their land and their future? The clock is ticking, dear viewer. By 2030, Greenland could be an independent nation. But what kind of nation will it be? A pawn of global superpowers, an environmental cautionary tale, or a beacon of indigenous self-determination? As you leave this land of ice and fire, of hope and heartbreak, ask yourself, in the race for Greenland's soul, who will emerge victorious? And at what cost to this fragile Arctic jewel and its people? Dear viewer, brace yourself for a journey into the heart of a modern-day Cold War, where the icy expanses of Greenland have become the chessboard for a geopolitical game that could reshape the world as we know it. Imagine, if you will, standing on the frozen shores of this Arctic giant, feeling the biting wind on your face as you gaze out over a landscape that holds the key to global dominance. Greenland, once dismissed as a barren wasteland, has emerged as the crown jewel in the struggle for Arctic supremacy. As you watch icebergs calve from ancient glaciers, you're witnessing more than just the effects of climate change. You're seeing the birth of new shipping routes, the unveiling of vast mineral wealth, and the awakening of a slumbering strategic giant. The melting ice isn't just revealing new opportunities, it's exposing the raw ambition of global superpowers. Enter Donald Trump, the brash billionaire-turned-politician, whose audacious bid to purchase Greenland sent shockwaves through the international community. But make no mistake, dear viewer, this was no mere whim of an eccentric leader. Trump's move was a calculated power play, a bold attempt to secure America's place in the new Arctic order. Why does Trump covet this icy expanse with such fervor? The answer lies beneath the ice and in the seas that surround it. Greenland is a treasure trove of rare earth elements, those precious minerals that power our modern world. From smartphones to missile guidance systems, these resources are the lifeblood of technological supremacy. By controlling Greenland, Trump seeks to break China's stranglehold on the rare earth market, ensuring American dominance in the industries of the future. But there's more at stake than just minerals. Greenland's strategic location is a military planner's dream. The island hosts Pituffik Space Base, a crucial installation for missile early warning and space surveillance. In an era of hypersonic missiles and space warfare, whoever controls Greenland holds the high ground in any future conflict. Trump's vision extends beyond mere acquisition. He sees Greenland as the cornerstone of a new American empire, a launching pad for projecting power across the Arctic and beyond. His son, Donald Trump Jr., has been spotted in Nuuk, Greenland's capital, meeting with local business leaders and politicians. Is this the groundwork for a future Trump dynasty's Arctic ambition? The whispers in Washington suggest a grand plan to transform Greenland into a bastion of American power, complete with military bases, resource extraction operations, and a network of Trump-branded luxury resorts catering to a new breed of Arctic tourists. But the United States isn't the only player in this high-stakes game. China, the rising dragon of the East, has set its sights on Greenland with an intensity that should chill you to the bone. Beijing's ambitions are cloaked in the benign language of economic cooperation, but make no mistake, their Polar Silk Road initiative is nothing less than a bid for Arctic dominance. Why does China, a country thousands of miles from the Arctic Circle, suddenly claim to be a near-Arctic state? The answer lies in the Northwest Passage and the Transpolar Sea Route. As climate change renders these waterways navigable, China sees an opportunity to revolutionize global shipping. By controlling key points along these routes, including Greenland, China could reduce its reliance on the Malacca Strait, a strategic choke point that the U.S. Navy could easily blockade in times of conflict. But China's ambitions go beyond mere trade routes. The Middle Kingdom is hungry for resources, and Greenland's vast mineral wealth beckons like a siren's call. Chinese state-owned companies have already attempted to invest in Greenlandic mining operations, raising alarms in Washington and Copenhagen. The prospect of Chinese control over Greenland's rare earth elements is a nightmare scenario for Western strategists, potentially giving Beijing leverage over everything from consumer electronics to advanced weapons systems. As you stand on Greenland's rugged coast, you can almost feel the weight of history shifting beneath your feet. The island's 56,000 inhabitants find themselves at the center of a global power struggle, their future hanging in the balance. Will they embrace independence, seeking to chart their own course in this new Arctic reality? Or will they become pawns in the great game of nations, their homeland carved up by competing superpowers? The battle for Greenland's soul is already underway. Chinese diplomats whisper promises of economic prosperity, while American envoys speak of security guarantees and shared democratic values. The Danes, longtime stewards of this Arctic jewel, watch nervously as their influence wanes. And caught in the middle are the Inuit people of Greenland, their ancient way of life threatened by both climate change and the machinations of distant powers. As you gaze out over the pristine Arctic landscape, you might be tempted to see only beauty and tranquility. But look closer, dear viewer, and you'll see the shadows of circling predators. Russian bombers probe Greenland's air defenses, testing NATO's resolve. Chinese icebreakers chart new courses through melting sea lanes, and American submarines lurk beneath the waves, silent sentinels in this new Cold War. The stakes in this Arctic game couldn't be higher. Whoever controls Greenland will have a stranglehold on the resources that will power the 21st century. They'll command the high ground in any future conflict, with the ability to monitor and intercept intercontinental ballistic missiles, and they'll be positioned to exploit new shipping routes that could reshape global trade. Trump's brazen attempt to purchase Greenland may have been rebuffed, but it was merely the opening salvo in a long-term strategy. The United States is quietly expanding expanding its presence on the island, modernizing military facilities, and deepening ties with local communities. The message is clear: America will not cede the Arctic to its rivals. China, for its part, is playing a longer game. Its Polar Silk Road initiative is a masterpiece of strategic patience, slowly building influence through economic engagement and scientific cooperation. Chinese researchers are now a common sight in Greenland, studying everything from glaciology to aurora borealis. But behind the facade of academic inquiry lies a concerted effort to map the island's resources and assess its strategic value. As night falls over Greenland, the aurora borealis paints the sky in ethereal hues. But even this natural wonder has become a battleground. Scientists from rival nations compete to unravel the mysteries of the Northern Lights, knowing that a deeper understanding of the ionosphere could lead to breakthroughs in communication and navigation technologies critical for Arctic operations. The future of Greenland hangs in the balance, and with it, the balance of global power. Will it become an American protectorate, a forward base in the new Cold War, or will it fall into China's orbit, becoming the jewel in Beijing's Arctic crown? Perhaps it will chart its own course, leveraging its newfound importance to secure true independence. Dear viewer, as the Arctic ice crackles beneath your feet, you stand at the crossroads of history. Greenland, once a frozen afterthought, now pulses with geopolitical significance. The choices made here will ripple across the globe, shaping the destiny of nations and the fate of our planet. As Donald Trump prepares to return to the White House, his obsession with Greenland burns brighter than ever. But this is no mere real estate deal. It's a battle for the soul of the Arctic, a high-stakes game where the pawns are people and the board is melting beneath our feet. You've witnessed the beauty of Greenland's icy expanses, but beneath that pristine surface lies a cauldron of conflicting interests. The United States, Russia, and China circle like Arctic wolves, each seeking to claim this strategic outpost as their own. As you gaze across the vast expanse of ice, can you feel the invisible lines of geopolitical tension crisscrossing the landscape? But what of the Greenlandic people? Their voices are often drowned out in this clamor of superpowers. Will you be the one to amplify their call for self-determination, or will you stand silent as their future is bartered away by distant powers? The melting ice reveals not just new shipping routes, but the raw ambitions of those who would exploit this fragile ecosystem. Each calving glacier is a thunderous reminder of the climate crisis unfolding before our eyes. Will you be the voice that speaks for the voiceless ice, the defender of this rapidly changing realm? Greenland stands at the precipice of a new era. Independence beckons, but at what cost? The siren song of mineral wealth and strategic importance may lead to a Faustian bargain. Will Greenland sacrifice its pristine environment and cultural heritage on the altar of economic prosperity? As you contemplate these questions, remember that complacency is the enemy of progress. The world is on fire, from the Amazon to the Siberian Arctic. We can no longer afford to be passive observers. The hour is late, and the moment of consequence is upon us. So, dear viewer, I challenge you. Will you be a catalyst for change or a bystander to history? Will you raise your voice against the unbridled extraction that threatens this fragile ecosystem? Or will you succumb to the comforting delusion that life will continue unimpeded? The fate of Greenland is inextricably linked to the fate of our world. As the ice melts, it carries with it the hopes, fears, and dreams of generations. Each droplet that falls into the Arctic Ocean is a testament to the choices we make and the future we create. Remember, in the grand tapestry of global politics, Greenland is not just a piece on the board. It's the board itself. The moves made here will echo across continents and through time. As you leave this frozen land behind, carry with you the weight of its significance and the urgency of its plight. For in the end, the fate of Greenland is not just about Greenland. It's about all of us, our shared future, on this fragile blue marble we call home. The Arctic is no longer a distant, frozen realm. It's the front line in humanity's struggle to balance progress with preservation, ambition with responsibility. The clock is ticking, the ice is melting, and the future is calling. Greenland's story is far from over, over. Indeed, it's just beginning. And you, dear viewer, are now part of that story. What chapter will you write? Will you stand with those who seek to preserve Greenland's unique culture and environment? Or will you align with those who see it merely as a strategic asset to be exploited? The choice is yours, and the consequences will ripple through time. As we conclude this journey through the land of ice and fire, I implore you to look beyond the surface. The future of Greenland is not just about lines on a map or numbers in an economic report. It's about the soul of a nation, the fate of a people, and the destiny of our planet. The challenges we face are daunting, but remember, we are capable of changing course, and no objective evidence says otherwise. We have the technologies, the capital, and the knowledge of effective policies. The question is, do we have the will? So, dear viewer, what role will you play in this unfolding drama? Will you be a voice for the voiceless, a defender of the defenseless? Or will you stand silent as the ice melts, and with it, the hopes of a people and the balance of our world? Your voice matters. Your actions count. Share your thoughts, your fears, and your hopes in the comments below. Let this be the beginning of a conversation that shapes the future of Greenland and our world. If this journey has moved you, if it has opened your eyes to the urgent plight of Greenland and the Arctic, then spread the word. Like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications to be the first one aware when we drop a new video. For here at 5x Travel, we're not just unlocking travel potential, we're unveiling the hidden stories that shape our world. The story of Greenland is still being written, and you, dear viewer, hold the pen. What will be your contribution to this unfolding saga? The world is watching. The ice is melting. The future is calling. How will you answer?